So I guess we should go straight into the big one. I guess the main event of the night, which like it or not, boxing fans, diehard fans, it was definitely the Jake Paul Woodley card, right? We agree on that?
Yeah, that knockout was sensational. As much as I don't like to say it, man, the way Woodley was lying on that canvas after the fight, I was like, yo, I got to step in there with Jake Paul now. Like, the way I seen Woodley laying on the canvas like
to do
that,
a call out.
yo, Jake Paul, bro, we got to fight, bro. Like, yo, the way I seen you knock him out, bro, yo, like, it made me feel a type of way. I got to fight you now, man. Yo, put them gloves on. Okay. Throw some hands, sign a contract. Okay. You heard? I'll fight any weight class.
Okay. So
you already know.
Let people know a little bit about yourself as a fighter. What's your amateur record right now?
My amateur record's 1-1.
Okay.
I'm about to have, but I got some cooking in the lab.
And what weight class you
y'all
fight
will see it soon. 126 to 130.
All right. So you being
now
an amateur fighter, and you've been training for how many years?
Training 5 years now. Yeah.
Do you realistically think you could beat Jake Paul in a boxing match right now?
Yeah, I could beat Jake Paul in a boxing match right now. If I fought him tonight, I'll fuck him up.
Yeah. That's good.
I'll fight him in 10 minutes, bro.
I'm not going front because I actually dead ass know you. I really think you could too, to be honest. But I guess let's get to one of the real talking points of this, and that's that a lot of casual fans, if you look through the Instagram comments all over IG, TikTok, etc., the biggest conspiracy theory out there is that it was fixed, it was staged. Now, I've been boxing a long time, you've been boxing a long time. What do you think about people thinking that a devastating knockout like that could be staged?
I think that's just people really hating like that. I think I don't know.
You think it's just ignorance? Because honestly, I don't think people realize yearly the amount of boxers that die in the ring from devastating knockout blows. There's no way to fake the connection. People are talking about he gave him a signal. That would mean that Woodley was willing to risk his life for whatever X amount of money. We're not talking about, he's already risking his life just getting into the ring, but he would risk his life even more by willingly giving his brain to a fully cocked right hand.
Yeah. I don't think that's something people
by a 200-pound man.
I mean, yeah. Like I'm not going completely ruled out, but I think it's highly unlikely. I haven't seen the whole fight. I only saw the knockout video. And that knockout looked pretty damn solid to me. Like the way that shit hit his face and the way
how much money
that looked clean.
How much money would it take for you to take a knockout blow like that?
Bro.
To let somebody unload a right hand on you. How much money would it take? Yo, is my video going, by the way?
Your video's your face is like paused right now.
Paused right now? Yeah. All right, so keep going. So how much money would it take?
Like it take, bro, for me, $1 billion.
A billion?
Turn me into a billionaire. Yeah, $1 billion. Yeah. Cause also it's a little different because I'm younger too. And I got a lot more ahead of me. But if I was maybe 40, I already completed my shit. Maybe the price would be lower.
You would take a blow to the head?
For $1 billion?
A cocked right now? No. Okay, so for $1 billion, I mean, that seems semi-reasonable. To still get knocked out, though, I don't know. To be knocked out, I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly just think people are really ignorant to the realities of boxing and the level of I'm fucking putting in a different battery in my webcam right now. The level of theatricality it would take to even masterfully do that. to do it safely at least, because otherwise you're just actually admitting that that you're taking a fully loaded right hand, which it's nearly impossible to fake that. So yeah, that sounds like absolute lunacy, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think
extremely difficult
I don't know.
To do like that.
I would do it. You have to pay me a huge sum of money though, me personally.
So $1 billion. What's the lowest you would do it for?
Oh no, $1 billion is probably the lowest I do it for. Fuck you mean? Nah. nah. I probably
dead.
And no funny shit. I probably put that shit even higher. Now that I'm thinking about it, because like, yo, that shit could give me brain damage. I might not be able to spend my money wisely for the rest of like my life or some shit. Like, yo, you gotta give me a huge payout to take a fully loaded blow from someone who's, and mind you, he's like 80 pounds heavier than me, 70 pounds heavier than me.
Exactly.
Like, man.
Where you have to drop your hand purposely and allow this man to hit you with a fully cocked right hand? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sounds insane to me. Did you watch the
Yeah, that's the question I really. Nah, I didn't get it. I didn't get to see. I'm not gonna lie.
So what other fight highlights did you end up seeing?
Not gonna lie, this week's the final week for college, so I didn't get to see a lot of fight highlights other than the Jake Paul one.
Did you see the Senicia Estrada knockout? That was a good knockout.
Nah.
Are you aware of Senicia Super Bad Estrada?
Never heard of him before.
That's a woman, first of all, and she's fucking elite. She's fire. Not only like she is like one of the most exciting women boxers out there right now.
I'm all for
and she, you must have saw her knockout. She was wearing red. She knocked this girl out. She switched to a southpaw stance, and then she gave her a big left hand. And she don't even fight southpaw. She just did it so calculated. Like all she gets is knockout wins, knockout victory. She's really one of the most exciting fighters out there today.
I just saw one of her old knockouts. That shit was pretty dope. Hold on, which one is it? Who she just knocked out this time though?
I don't remember the opponent's name. She looked like a really young girl though, like just in her stature. But it was definitely a highlight reel knockout for sure. It would have been the knockout of the night had it not been for what Jake Paul, how he iced fucking Woodley. That was just devastating, beyond devastating.
Yo, I'm seeing I'm watching her fight Estrada, and like my first impression, like I like the way she in and out her feet, get off. She worked the body and the head. Like this 7-second knockout.
Gives me like beautiful. The way she fights is Manny Pacquiao-esque meets a little bit of Roy Jones. Like obviously those are two elite male legends, and you'll go and look her up and you'll have a whole bunch of criticisms, but if you look at a glance, you can see who some of her favorite fighters are, without a doubt,
Yeah. And actually, I think it's kind of interesting that you mentioned she looked like Manny Pacquiao and Roy Jones, because I think Manny Pacquiao and Roy Jones, they fight kind of similar. The only difference is that Roy Jones, he had that size advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, a lot of the similarities would come from that. And this is probably something that, because most of the time people aren't going to make those comparisons, especially when somebody's a southpaw and somebody's an orthodox fighter. But you can make the comparison when for fighters who use their feet as their defense. And Manny Pacquiao and Roy Jones are two examples of fighters who use their feet as their defense, because they were just so athletically gifted with quick feet, with probably two of the top 5 fastest feet all time in boxing. Like, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
And
it's and like also one thing I think the way Manny Pacquiao be using the hook too, kind of to counter the jab. Kind of reminds me of Roy Jones Jr. Like some of the moves are pretty similar, but also like you said, it comes with the speed. I think the real difference between what separates Pacquiao from like Jones, I guess, is just like I think at every weight class Pacquiao fought in, he had that knockout power. While Jones, not saying Jones wasn't a hard hitter, but like he hit hard and he got like knockouts and stoppages and shit. But like I think Roy Jones is all about that. I think Roy Jones was more finesse than Pacquiao, to be honest.
Nah, I mean, if we look at Pacquiao, especially in his entrance into 140 and 147, most of those outside of like the highlight reel ones like Ricky Hatton, you know, were stoppages. Like Cotto was a stoppage, Oscar De La Hoya, a stoppage. And then for years, for about a decade at 147, he just completely stopped and he was just winning 12-round boxing matches. You know, Roy never stopped being devastating because, and just to really put it into perspective, somebody who starts their career technically at 154, but realistically at 160, and then moves up to heavyweight. At 160, any man 160 pounds and who has elite world-class punching power, they're a puncher throughout all the weight classes. Like, the scale isn't as different than like when you're a Manny Pacquiao and you're jumping up, you know, 8 weight divisions and you're trying to carry, you know, power from, you know, like 118, you know, like that's a little bit less realistic, but Roy Jones was more realistic. And we got Jay in here, who I'm not sure if, Jay, get on the camera. Or not, or just watch us.
Yo, Jay, I saw that video. Yo, you caught Blueface with a nice eye poke, bro. Not gonna lie. I looked at it in slow motion, 1/4, and sheesh, that eye
who
poke.
Jay is? Is that my boy John? Yo, Jay, get on the chat, man. He just in here watching. That's cool. He a voyeur. I feel it.
I don't know. I don't like this.
Man. Get back in the can. Losing y'all by the second, huh?
I feel weird having people just watching me here.
I'm dead.
I'm just
That's not funny. But yeah, so we had Senicia Estrada. We had Amanda Serrano fight last night. She put a beat down on her opponent. The super fight is obviously her versus Katie Taylor. So what do you think about that fight? Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor.
Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see some video of them fighting real quick.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead. Do your research right now in the moment. My man exclusively only watches male boxing.
No, I've seen.
I'm gonna need all the feminists.
No. Hold on. I know Clarissa Shields. She nice, and there's this blonde Australian boxer too who fought in the Olympics. She mad nice with it too. All right. Shit, I forgot her name though, but I can find her out real quick. But that's besides the point. We talking about Serrano versus
Katie Taylor. You know who Katie Taylor is, right?
Katie Taylor. Yeah, I know who Katie Taylor is. Oh wait, is Serrano the one? Hold on. Okay, I see her. Okay. Yo, okay. Oh damn. All right.
She's a beast.
She got some speed. Okay.
She's a beast.
What?
Not at all.
Oh, she's a southpaw. I'm looking at Serrano right now first, real quick.
Serrano's
shit.
A dog, a come forward tank.
Yeah. But I see her fighting against the ropes too.
Southpaw. She's southpaw.
So I think she's definitely a power puncher, I think, or like volume puncher. Kind of reminds me of Errol Spence, except without the high guard.
Interesting. I never heard that.
She's throwing a lot of punches though. Yeah, the only difference is like, well, Errol Spence definitely have like tighter fundamentals, like because he always walk around with his hands up. He's like boom, boom. But like I feel like her punching pattern is less predictable than Errol Spence's though, so that's a good thing.
Speaking of Errol Spence, we have a fight coming up. It's a great fight, honestly. It's a title unification, and that's Errol Spence versus Ugas. So let's talk about it. Break it down for me.
All right. So while I'm doing my research on these, on Taylor and Serrano,
okay,
I'll break it down real quick. So Ugas, he's a very back foot fighter, right?
Interesting.
With him, I think, everything with him comes off the jab. And then even when he pull counters with the cross, it always comes off with a jab. He be sticking his hand out, ba, ba, ba. And whenever you try to throw over a jab or something, like we saw in the Pacquiao fight, you can see it with a lot of his other fights. Even the Sean Porter fight, in a way, like everything with him comes off the jab too, but it's kind of like a measuring stick. He'd be like back foot, bang with that cross. Boom, boom.
All right, so let me get down to the meat and potatoes of it. Is it a competitive fight? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think it's a competitive fight.
Okay, so give me a percentage. So if you were the odds maker, give me some odds.
Well, Errol Spence would definitely be a favorite. I'm not too sure on how the odds work.
Huh?
I don't know how odds work.
Ain't you a math whiz? I thought you was a math whiz.
Hey, bro, don't be assuming shit just because I'm Asian.
You know I know you in real life. I thought you was a math whiz. So
No, I'm just kidding.
I seen you do math before.
Yo. Yeah. odds. I'm gonna just try making shit up on the fly then. I say Errol Spence 3 or 4 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a fairly competitive matchup then.
Yeah, I think it is fairly. I think it's more competitive than what people
like
realize.
Mayweather Pacquiao was like, I think he was a 3 to 1 favorite for like the odds of that fight, like when it had happened.
Yeah.
I think Spence is going to be more along. I think when the odds do come in, which they probably are already, I think he's going to be more like at least like a 8 to 1 favorite, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the thing, but like, if I was like making it, I'd say like 4 to 1, but I can see why people think it's 8 to 1 too. I just think Ugas is better than what people think, and Spence is not as good as people think. Spence is good. Spence is good too, but like
talking spicy. So give me a prediction then.
Yeah.
How does that fight play out?
I think it plays out with I haven't seen Ugas bounce around on his feet a lot, but it definitely plays out with Ugas circling the ring, changing directions, and trying to like Errol Spence cutting off the ring, of course.
Does the problem fight go to distance?
If Ugas, I think the fight goes to distance, yeah. Whether Ugas wins or Spence wins, I think the fight does go to distance. Mainly because Spence couldn't put out Mikey Garcia, and everybody's saying like that, like everybody's saying like.
But to Mikey Garcia's credit, Mikey Garcia has never been put out.
Fair enough, but also Garcia went up 2 weight classes to fight Spence, right? True. He came up from 130 to 147, and that's a.
It wouldn't be the first time though. You know, we have Roberto Duran jumping up from lightweight to welterweight to fight Sugar Ray Leonard to hand him his first defeat. We even have Ray Leonard, you know, who came out of what, a 5-year retirement or something like that to fight Marvin Hagler at 160 when he was at 147. So yeah. It's been done. Oh my God, John, here we go.
What's up, fellas?
What up? We talking the fights, man.
Let's go, Brody.
He's breaking down Spence and Ugas for me now. As a matter of fact, he just gave me his odds. He says he favors odds. He said he favors Errol Spence as a 4 to 1 favorite. How about you?
4 to 1? That's a little high. I mean, Ugas is very skilled. He's Cuban, you know. Cubans are very slick. They have great footwork. They're real patient. Always working with the jab. So I mean, I don't see him winning, but Ugas will give him a good fight though.
What do you
But I
think?
just feel
Because
like Spence is big.
me
He's
and
too
you,
strong.
we dabble a little bit in these apps. So what do you think the actual odds makers will be? Like the actual odds will be for that fight? I think they're gonna be.
I mean,
like
when it comes to
8-1,
boxing though, they exaggerate the odds a little bit. So I feel like 4-1 is pretty likely. But I don't know. I feel like Ugas can make an upset. Like I said, he's Cuban. He's
and just
slick,
so I can break it down to Thomas real quick, that means that you'd have to bet $400 on Errol Spence to win 100.
Yeah.
You get it now?
Yeah.
So that's what that means.
Okay.
I feel like it sounds about right though. Sounds about right. Especially since he beat Pacquiao, you know, they'll give Ugas a chance.
So what's your prediction on that fight?
I feel like Spence has enough body to walk him down, be patient, break him down with jabs little by little, get him in the corner, because I feel like Ugas is not too active. So I feel like he'll back him up, be patient with the jab. Once he has him in the corner, he'll just work that body.
So yeah, stoppage, going the distance, what?
Distance. I think it's a distance, but it'll be a unanimous decision.
You think it's gonna be like a bang 'em out war like Sean Porter, or is Spence gonna dominate?
I feel like Spence is gonna dominate from a boxing standpoint. Like we won't see a knockdown, we won't see a knockout. Like I said, Ugas is Cuban. You know, their specialty is just being patient, a lot of footwork, hit and don't get hit. And I just feel like Spence doesn't have enough footwork to really keep up with him. I feel like he could walk him down eventually, but yeah, Ugas gonna move around a lot. Plus, that high guard is very effective.
Definitely effective. I see Spence coming to make a statement. I'm gonna say it right here on the podcast in the Fight Lounge with my fellow fighters. And Spence, he didn't like what he saw with Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter. He didn't like that at all. Spence also doesn't like that the narrative that he hasn't looked the same since the car accident. That the version of him that fought Danny Garcia isn't the same old Errol Spence that we're used to seeing. I think Spence is gonna come in and work that body crazy, walk Ugas down, open him up with the jab, and be in killer mode, to be honest. I think he wants to make a statement as the guy to put down Ugas, like in a devastating fashion. And that's what I predict. And I think that right there is going to build that mega fight with him and Terrence Crawford. Hopefully, we get some news. Now, boxing works in mysterious ways. So this fight was just announced. Hopefully we hear in the coming weeks that Crawford has signed a deal with PBC, like maybe like a 3-fight deal.
He depends on doing, right?
I mean, that's what the rumors are. That's what would be like a fan's dream, because that's where all the elite welterweights are at. So that's what the fans would really want to see. So hopefully he signs like a quick little 3-fight deal with PBC, and that'll be the big news, because then he'll be front row, and Spence is gonna come to make a statement, and that fight is gonna be built up even more. But also now, if Spence defeats Ugas, that means he's going to have 3 of the major belts at welterweight. So he's basically going to be like Thanos, just collecting all of them gems. And and Bud Crawford is basically like Doctor Strange, just with that one stone. And I feel like that fight's going to be like that. Spence definitely going to have the bargaining chips. So Spence for a long time has been talking about at least that fight being a 60-40 split. How do you guys see that from a financial standpoint? What do you think the split should be? I agree to 60-40.
I feel like it's fair, because I just feel like as far as resume, I think Spence got he's more electrifying in my opinion. Like he has more power to his punches. he's a little more attractive to the eye when you watch him. Unfortunately, Top do a great job holding Bud Crawford. He took a lot of risk fights that had like big fighters that just didn't have enough spotlight for Crawford to get the respect that he rightfully deserves. You know, like Spence done fought Porter, he done fought Danny Garcia. These are big names that like people know. So you know, you get respected for these things. I feel like people will mostly be there to watch Spence. So I would agree for the 60-40.
Sensei, chime in. What should the financial split be?
I agree with 60-40. At best, it would be for like at best for Crawford, it would be 45-55. Just because Spence is such a bigger draw.
Here comes that math. Here comes that math. Okay, I see you.
Like I'm just saying, like Spence is a way bigger draw. Not just like in terms of resume. I think Crawford's got a real accomplished boxing record. To be honest,
absolutely, they both do.
And I don't think Spence's is much better than Crawford's. I think they're about even. But Spence is such a bigger draw. Like people gonna watch that fight for people gonna watch that fight for Spence. To be honest, most people. And yeah, like Spence is kind of being more well-known fighters too, and like all of that. He got way more clout than like Crawford. So like Spence is really the one carrying the pay-per-view tickets in that in the super fight. I just think that it's a shame that after Crawford knocked out Porter, Spence didn't step in there and go face to face with Crawford and be like, "What's up?" Like you didn't fight that.
When you see though, so you really have to understand the way the networks and the politics work. Anytime you see a fighter step in the ring with another fighter, they're a part of the same promotional company. Now, outside of our guy John, who somehow got into that damn ring with Blueface, that normally doesn't happen unless it's planned. It's very hard to get past the security. Like if you're a PBC fighter, they're gonna let Pacquiao get in the ring with Spence. They're gonna let Danny Garcia get in the ring, etc. Spence isn't going to be able to just jump in the ring with Terrence Crawford after he wins. That's going to be very difficult. Plus, honestly, he was just he was generally not pleased with that stoppage, and he's made that very clear in all his post-fight interviews. Well, not the Spence made it clear that he didn't like that stoppage of Sean.
I don't think Porter had a lot left in the tank, and although he got dropped down once and he was behind on scoreboards, he still had enough energy and enough power to get a knockdown or maybe a knockout, because we all know what Porter brings to the table.
That's true. And it was great. I mean, and I'll die on that hill that Porter could have easily went 12, and we could have had us a nice war. But, it is what it is. It's old news now. We have things like Spence and Crawford to look forward to. But, first and foremost, Ugas is a champion. Ugas did defeat Manny Pacquiao. Ugas did have a very competitive fight with Sean Porter, who some people thought he beat. And he is, long story short, he's no slouch. So we got to give Ugas his credit. And Ugas is coming to mess things up. He's coming to mess up the super fight, to be honest.
The only problem I see, the only problem I see with Ugas is I don't think he punches hard enough to stop Spence from like he got all the skill and stuff. But I can see Spence just like walking him down, and then he'll eat a couple punches, and then he'll throw a couple, and then he'll start working the body. You know what I'm saying?
I actually think, in my opinion, that Ugas's power is relative to Spence's. Ugas has pop behind those punches, and he's fought some elite fighters. Like if you compare and contrast like the fighters they fought together and how they handled them, like nobody's walking through Ugas, that's for sure.
Yeah. I need to see that Porter fight again, but man.
The Porter fight was like a bang him out drag. Now, obviously, Errol Spence caught him right on the button. So, that's one of those things that, he got that knockdown, which a lot of people feel that knockdown was the difference between Sean Porter winning that fight, So
Spence?
yeah. A lot of people thought Sean Porter was winning that fight as well, like without the knockdown.
From what I remember, it was competitive, but I feel like for the most part, Spence was mostly in control. He was from the outside, and it was really Porter trying to force the win. But
Porter definitely caught him a couple good times. It's definitely a good ass scrap to go back and watch because it's one of those like they were scrapping. But Errol Spence has built up this narrative that he likes to fight the so-called elite fighters on their playing field. You know, he's created that narrative with Mikey Garcia that he could outbox the boxer, and he wanted to outbrawl the brawler with Sean Porter. So I guess the last and final question that we'll cover on tonight's episode, because we're running out of time, is will Errol Spence fight Terrence Crawford's fight?
I feel like he shouldn't.
I don't think that's just happening at all.
And what is Terrence Crawford's fight, in your opinion?
Say that again?
What is Terrence Crawford's fight? How does Terrence Crawford win that fight?
I feel like Crawford, he has that like that rubber band jab that's just quick. Brings it back. It's quick. He knows how to set it up. He throws little feints. He moves a lot of footwork. He has respectable power. I just feel like he's a slick fighter, man. And if you try to fight his fight, you're not gonna win. Like he has a pack. Like he knows how to move in and move out at the right times. Spence, I feel like when he holds his ground, when he's firm on his feet, he's powerful. You can't go toe to toe with Spence. But if he tries to like box and move around with Crawford, he won't be able to keep up. Crawford's too fast.
So the key to the fight for Errol Spence are he has to go toe to toe and use his size and strength and bully Terrence Crawford essentially.
He has to walk him down.
That makes sense. I agree.
He has a little more power than him, so he just has to walk him down. He can't be patient. He has to get him in the corner and just work that body and just a couple feints and then work the head.
Can Crawford dog it out with Errol Spence if it comes down to that?
I think he can. Crawford got balls, man. Crawford is tough, man. Crawford is mad tough. Like he could fight patient. He could fight from the outside. He could be slick. He could work the body. He could throw a couple jabs. But he shows that he's not afraid to go toe to toe with the big punches. He just showed that with
definitely.
Porter.
I already know what you're gonna say. I agree.
Put him down twice in that one round, and like although it wasn't like he almost put him to sleep, but he definitely shows that he's not afraid. He hard. Like there's no like running away from the fight. He'll go toe to toe, but I feel like he should be a little more patient, work from the outside, be slick, work the body, work that jab a lot, and use a lot of feints.
All right, Thomas. So take us out with your thoughts on Crawford, Spence, and the keys to the fight for them.
Yeah, I think Crawford, he's a fighter who literally moves like water. He does whatever, like, I don't know, he just puts the key in the slot and like turns it. But yeah, I think keys for victory for Crawford, definitely taking advantage of, like, definitely getting that timing down on Spence's jab. Because Spence, he's been rocked while throwing his jab before. Even the Mikey Garcia fight, Mikey Garcia rocked, and Danny Garcia too, he rocked Spence when they were throwing when Spence was throwing his jab, because his jab gets kind of predictable. Spence got that rocking back and forth every time he's on his front foot, bow, front foot, bow. And like, I think Crawford can pick that up real good. Another thing, of course, he got to work the body of Spence. Keep up that good body work that he always does. Crawford's got real good body work. And then I think he gets those two things down, he can win the fight however he wants to. Yeah, just body work and timing that jab. Cause yeah, on the inside, I think the inside fighting, that's gonna be cool to see, but that's not where Crawford's really gonna That's not where his meat and potatoes are gonna be. That's not where like if we gonna see the inside, it's gonna be kind of like how he knocked down Sean Porter, because Sean Porter was like kind of coming on the inside, and then Crawford stepped back. Sean Porter's leaning, bang, you know, like Crawford, like I said, Crawford's really good at switching up the flow of the fight. He'll fight you this way, and then all of a sudden
Crawford fight Errol Spence southpaw? Either of you?
Yes.
Will he?
Yeah.
Yeah, will he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But,
That's interesting.
But real quick, I just want to say something about Errol Spence though. I think Spence's best bet is to get in on the inside and dog it out with him. Body shots too, especially because Spence got that good body work too. And I'm telling you, Spence is definitely gonna get timed with his jab. But he walking down, he catch Crawford, get Crawford angry, because sometimes Crawford gets angry and then he just wants to bang it out. And that's when Spence can really light him up. Not saying Crawford can't bang it out either, but like, yo, Spence comes down from what, 180, 190 to fight at 147. Like shit. Like that's what I'm saying. But yeah, back to the other thing. What was you saying?
Final prediction on this possible fight, this super fight number one. I think that whoever wins this fight is absolutely, without a doubt, the best boxer on planet Earth. I think this man is number one pound for pound. Whoever wins between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford has that crown easily. And keys to victory, I think Spence has to use his size and his length. If you guys saw that ES News face-off with Spence and Crawford going back and forth, you guys know Spence got, and that was them walking around. Spence has a lot of size on Terrence Crawford. He has all the physical attributes to be the quote unquote weight bully against Bud Crawford, you know? So Bud is really gonna have to box his ass off that night. Now, it's all gonna be about game plans, and it's gonna be I think this fight will be more of a chess match. I think we're gonna be looking more at something like Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, opposed to Tommy Hearns versus Marvin Hagler, where two guys just went into the middle of the ring and dogged it out. No, this is going to be a high-speed chess match where you're going to see Terrence Crawford, like Thomas said, changing the flow of the fight at any given moment, and then Spence making the championship level adjustments where he's going to be on the outside and leaning back like he was against Mikey Garcia, or when he's using his angles, or when he's walking forward like he did on Kell Brook, you know? It's going to be a very interesting high-speed chess match where we're going to see elite level boxing on display. And I think it's going to come down to will. Who wants it more the night of? Because I think both of these guys are that well matched up.
One thing, I think Crawford got something that will fuck up Errol Spence's game plan: lateral movement. I don't think Spence has fought anybody who can move laterally like Crawford. If Crawford wants to ride, like he has fought anybody who, if they're like, shit, I want to ride my bike, they can just ride their bike around the ring and then boom, and then keep riding their bike like Crawford did against Victor Pascal. Yeah.
I think the closest person, I think the person who might not have it to Terrence Crawford's level, but who definitely had it, was Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia didn't use it. He just walked him down.
I mean, Mikey Garcia, no, but the reason Mikey survived was because of his elite feet and his high guard. Yeah. He was able to nullify and play it safe. That in itself, even though it's just surviving, is still a feat that shows your incredible boxing IQ, that you're in there with a much bigger man and you're able to go the full distance. But let's leave it at that, guys. Let's try and get back here after the next fights, and we'll try and make these half-hour to 40-minute episodes. Let everybody know where they can follow you guys and find you guys at.
Hold on real quick. I just need to say something about the female boxing scene. Feminists, yo, I love female boxing. Like, yo, I support woman equality and shit.
All right, so let the feminists know where they can follow you.
Yeah. At Thomas_Shen_Say. That's with an S, like Shensei. So Thomas, like Thomas the Train _ SHEN Shen _SEI say. You'll find me there, baby.
Yeah, let him know.
Nah, but like, yeah. Sky Nicholson though. Look at Sky Nicholson. She's my favorite female boxer.
Okay.
She's like Roy Jones Jr. Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies, man. All right.
Round.
PARRA 96. John _ Para 96.
Give that to us one more time.
John _ Para PARRA 96. That's what y'all find me.
Cool, man. So I hope I see y'all next week. Let's get this going again. And this was episode 2 of the Fight Lounge. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.